everybody, it is Julie. Welcome back to Nobody's Beauty Guru. Today I have a giant brush declutter that I'm going to be filming for you. I'm going to be taking the angle down on top of my desk. I'm going to be pulling out all of my brushes and we are going to declutter. I have too many brushes, which means I have too much to clean at any given point, and that becomes very, very daunting and very, very annoying. So we are going to seriously declutter my brush collection and see what I'm keeping and what I'm getting rid of. I'll tell you right now, I'm going to keep a lot of e.l.f., a lot of Real Techniques, and a lot of BH Cosmetics. And we'll see how many I can get rid of. Wish me luck! Let's get in. I'm just going to dump out like one of these container things at a time. So this first container contains some of my less used brushes that was just in one of these little tins. I love this Real Techniques. This is one of their buffing brushes. I'm keeping this. This was a small contour brush. This was from an Ipsy. I don't use this and I'm not going to use it for contouring, so I'm going to give this away. I also don't really use these. I have a couple that I use for putting on masks, but they're just not a brush that I use, so I'm going to get rid of that. This is the e.l.f. powder brush. This is one of my staples. I love this. I'm keeping that. Also keeping this powder brush by Up and Up. It is so soft. I love this brush. Likewise, I am keeping this. This is the Expert Face Brush from Real Techniques. Clearly Dirty. I love this for foundation. This little guy, I believe, was a BH Cosmetics. This is just one of the small little travel blush brushes. I don't use that. This is the Wet n Wild. This was their flat top powder brush, and I just don't use it. It's really pretty flimsy, not quite dense enough. It's just not something that I reach for, so I'm going to get rid of this one. This is the Coastal Scents, and again, kind of like a flat top, but where you can see this one is really densely packed with bristles where this one isn't. So this one is actually pretty dense, and I like this one a lot better than this one. So I'm going to keep this Coastal Scents one. And then this was the Morphe M839, and I hate this, guys. I don't know if you can tell, but the cut on this is so uneven. So it's not even like fully rounded. It's dented. It's got like these little pock marks. The cut on it just looks like somebody like was shaking while they were doing it. It's pretty poor. I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of that. Next up, I'll bring in this guy. This is one of the BH Cosmetics little sets, and it was just holding some brushes. So first up is an e.l.f. brush. This is, I don't know, you could use this for contouring. I use this actually for blending in foundations, and I actually liked it. It covers like a wide area of your skin, and yeah, so I like this brush. I'm gonna keep it. This is another one of those little paddle brushes. I just don't use these, so I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of it. This is the small, I think it's like a contour brush, but I use this actually like underneath my eyes for setting my concealer. I don't use this for actually doing contouring or anything, but sometimes I will use these for concealer, so I will keep that one. This was the e.l.f. Mineral Powder Brush. I don't care for this. This is one of the e.l.f. brushes that I haven't really found a purpose for in my makeup routine, so I'm gonna get rid of that. This BH Cosmetics fan brush is gigantically fluffy, but I actually love this for putting on Becca highlighters because they're so pigmented. This kind of makes them a little bit less like highly packed on. So where you use something else that's like a little bit denser, you get a lot of pigmentation in your highlighter. I like this for those highlighters. Oh, this poor guy got really bent up in somewhere. But this is one of the face brushes, one of their new brushes, and I actually really like them. So I'm gonna see if I can save this guy and kind of get these bristles to stand back the right way, because I actually really do like this for buffing in foundation and just kind of like a flawless finish to my face. Same goes with this. Like if I don't have a beauty blender, I can use this for kind of setting my face and almost baking with powders. I just really like these brushes, so I'm gonna keep that. This is their Tapered Blush Brush by e.l.f. and while there's nothing wrong with it, it's just not one that I reach for. I don't actually use it for blush. I sometimes use it for highlighting, but I have other brushes that I use for highlighting more, so I'm gonna get rid of that. And this is the Morphe brush. This is the M459. So this you would use for contouring and chiseling out the face. I have never used this. I got it and I've never used it. So I'm gonna at least try to use this before I pass it on, but I don't see myself using it that much, but I'm gonna at least try it first. Now we can get onto this lovely mason jar. jam-packed full of brushes. This is another one of those face brushes that I just don't use. I don't use these paddle type of brushes, so I'm gonna get rid of that. This is their blush brush, and I adore it. This is BH Cosmetics, love them, keeping that. This is a BH Cosmetics brush. They don't have names, they just kind of have numbers. Guys, what did I do to these poor brushes? Do you see that on the side? I'm so bummed out. This is just one of their fluffy powder brushes. I love their brushes. I'm keeping that. This is the e.l.f. Tapered. I think they market this as a highlighter brush, and I have not actually used this for highlighting yet, so I want to keep this and try that. This is another one of those BH Cosmetics brushes. This says number 1, but so do a couple of the other ones, so it depends what set you get, what number it is. This is just another really great brush for blush or for contour even, and I love it, so I'm gonna keep that. This is the e.l.f. mineral powder brush. Like I said before, I really haven't found a reason for these guys. I'm getting rid of that. This is the BH Cosmetics number 12. This is one of their like crease brushes. This brush sheds. So this did not come in a set. It's a single brush, and I find it scratchier than the brushes that come in sets, and it does shed on me when I clean it. So I'm gonna get rid of this. I like the shape of it, but it's just not my favorite brush. And then this is just a little pointed brush, but it's not actually like short enough and dense enough to be like the pencil brush that I want for underneath my eyes. So I'm gonna get rid of that. This is the e.l.f. eyeshadow C brush. I love these brushes. I'm definitely keeping this. This is a crown brush. The name wore off, but this is one of their double-sided brushes. So this is just for packing on shadow. This is a little pencil brush on this side. I actually really love this pencil brush, so I will be keeping this brush. They're a pain to store though. This is a BH Cosmetics. This is one of their angled brushes, so this does kind of come up into an angle, and I like this for under the eye for concealer as well, so I'm going to keep that. This is a Coastal Scents BRC SO8. This I like for packing shadow into my outer corner, into my crease. I actually like this brush, so I'm gonna keep that one. This is another BH Cosmetics, and this is just one of those like angled thin brushes. Sometimes I will use this to smudge out my lower lash line, so I'll go ahead and hold on to that. This is the Flawless Concealer brush. I already have one of these, and I don't think I need two, so I'm gonna get rid of this and give that to somebody else. This is actually a art brush, but I use this as a push liner brush, so I'm going to keep that. This one is a Morphe 153. It's just a really fluffy shader brush. I use this for packing shadow all over the lid, nothing precise or anything, just for like an all over color, and I have no problem with it, so I'm gonna keep that. This is a BH Cosmetics, just a really nice fluffy blending brush. I can use this to kind of make sure that my crease up to my brow bone is blended. I like this. This brush is mammoth, and I have used this for highlighting. It's just a little too big for my actual eye space, like the room that I have between my crease and my brow bone and my hooded eyes, so I can't really use this on my eyes. I use it elsewhere on my face, and it is soft and really nice, so I'm gonna hang on to it because I found other ways to use it. This is a Visanti eyeshadow 2 brush. This is a really nice flat brush that I actually use for pigments, so I can use this with glitters and glues and pigments and loose shadows and get, you know, an adhesive onto this and then really use it to pack on color, so I like this. This is an e.l.f. small smudge brush. This thing is pointless. I have not found any reason for this other than scooping lipsticks out of those little like pots that you test. I'm gonna get rid of that. This container that I have right here, there's only a couple in here, and I think I'm keeping them all, so let's just go over that real quick. This is a flat top BH Cosmetics brush, and I do like this. It is slightly angled, like it does angle up just a little tiny bit, you can see, and I do like this, so I'm gonna hold on to that, although the ferrule feels a little loose, which makes me nervous. This is one of my favorite brushes. This is the contour brush from Real Techniques. I use this for contouring. I use this for highlighting. I use this for just about every dang thing. I love this brush. This is another one of those e.l.f. face brushes. This is from their, like, one of their newer lines. I like these brushes. I'm keeping that. This is a great rounded brush. I don't use these for foundation. This is another BH Cosmetics, but I do like these for powders or for all over bronzing, so I'm going to keep that. This is the Real Techniques blush brush, and I adore it. I love the cut of this and just the overall shape, so I'm keeping that. This is a BH Cosmetics brush that I use for a lot of bronzing. and I love it, so I am keeping that one as well. But here's another one of these mason jars with more brushes, so let's go over these guys. So let's start with this. This is BH Cosmetics. A lot of these will be, guys. This is just one of their blending, you know, brushes, and I actually really like these. They're smaller than a lot of the blending brushes that you'll see like makeup people on YouTube using, but they really work for my eye shape and size, so I'm going to keep this. And I know I have more, so when I find these, I'm just going to put them right into the keep because they're definitely keeps. This is my Sigma E40, keeping that. Love this. This is a Morphe M330, love this, keeping that. This is the e.l.f. concealer brush. I use this for pigments and loose shadows, keeping this. This is the Coastal Scents BR250. I'm keeping this as well. I love this for crease work. This is the Wet n Wild. This is just one of their like all over shadow brushes. I like this one. I'm keeping that. Again, these are my dirties. This is one of those e.l.f. smudgers. I'm getting rid of that. Another e.l.f. C brush, keeping this. My detail brush from Real Techniques, keeping. My shadow brush from Real Techniques, I'm keeping. This is my Morphe M08. I'm keeping this. It's just a little smudger. Love that. And as well as this little BH Cosmetics smudger. I love this one too. This is a little detailed smudger brush from Scone. I like this guy. I'm keeping him. And an angled liner brush from BH Cosmetics that I'm keeping. This is another brush that's like one of those flat paddle brushes. I don't know the technical name for it, but I use these for packing on pigments and shadows, keeping this guy. This guy is a BH Cosmetics, just a fluffy brush. I do like this for crease and blending, so I'm keeping that. This one I've used underneath to work in my brightener under my eye. I use this more for like concealer and spot concealing, but I like it, so I'm keeping that. This little detail brush I actually don't need. It reminds me a lot of those e.l.f. brushes, so I'm gonna get rid of that one. And then this is a Morphe M160 1/8 liner brush, keeping that guy. Guys, more eyeshadow brushes. So let's go over all of these, shall we? This is the e.l.f. crease brush. I have about like 8 of these. I actually don't mind these. They're pretty small, which work for my eye shape, so I'm gonna keep that. I'm also keeping this one, which is just one of the e.l.f. like all over shadow crease brushes. I like the cut of these. They do vary though. This cut is like a little bit wonky, but I'm gonna keep that. Here's one of those paddle brushes that I can use for glitters and pigments, but it's a little bit too big for my eye shape, so I'm gonna get rid of that one. This is one of those like angled shadow shader brushes, and I just don't use these angled ones, so I'm gonna get rid of this. Bring in a little bit more. This is the Morphe 153. Again, all over shadow brush, keeping that. This is a no name, but it's so soft. It's so nice. I'm gonna keep this one. This is a unique double-ended. This has a liner brush on one side and a shadow brush on one. Neither one of them are that significantly like wowing. The shadow, you know, brush is kind of like meh. And this side is not anything worth keeping for a double-sided that's hard to store, so I'm gonna get rid of that. Same with this little Sephora smudger brush. I've got others, I don't need that one. This is an e.l.f. contour brush, getting rid of that. This is an e.l.f., I think I've re-glued the ferrule onto this because it's crooked, but I like these, keeping that. This is a Coastal Scents BR CS110 or S10. It's just a liner brush. It's a really thick liner brush, but I like this one. This is a Mars, just one of those little flat paddle brushes again, and a little bit too big for my eyes for any kind of pigments, so I'll get rid of that. Real Techniques, I'm keeping. Sephora, this is one of my favorite fluffy blending brushes, so I'm keeping that one. This is another BRS08. I like this for detail work. This is another eyeshadow paupières by somebody I don't know. Just an all over shadow brush. I will keep this guy. This is another one of those SO8s. I like those for crease work. Another fluffy blending all over shadow brush, keeping that. A Morphe 330, another blending brush, I'm keeping this. This is another one of those little small detail brushes that I can't really find a use for, getting rid of that. This is a pointed brush that I will never use. I'm gonna get rid of this. Another brush that I find really no use for like detail work in the corner. I have other brushes that I can use. This was supposed to be a liner brush, but it's so frayed and like I'd have to cut off so many different strays on this. I just don't see myself using it, so I'm gonna get rid of that. This is a push liner brush, but it's really soft, so it's really flimsy and it doesn't really blend the way I want it to, so I'm gonna get rid of this. Another one of those paddle brushes that I just don't use. This is a Morphe 200 blending brush. I like this. This is just a BH Cosmetics blending brush. I love this. I'm keeping both of those. This is a Morphe Gunmetal G14 all over shadow brush. I like that, keeping that. And then this is another one of those paddle brushes by BH Cosmetics. I probably don't need it, but I will keep it because it's a little bit narrower than the other ones that I've gotten rid of. So this one might actually fit my lid size, so I'll keep this for pigments. All right, guys, I have some that are still in their packaging. So let's unravel these and see the actual shape of them. This is a BH Cosmetics 119. This is like an angled all over shadow brush. It is angled a little bit upwards, but I actually like the shape of that. I'll keep that guy. This is an angled just concealer brush, and it's got a little bit of give. I'm gonna keep it at least until I can try it. This one is a flat topped little tiny brush. I'm not sure I would use this one. I like the angles better, so I will get rid of this one. I'll put it back in this sleeve and just gift that to somebody. I definitely want to keep, this is one of like their pointed brushes. I want to use this for underneath the eyes and maybe even, you know, some kind of contouring. I don't know, but I like the shape of this. I want to try this guy out, so I'm going to keep him. Also going to keep this one. This is a pointed brush that I got rid of other sets of because I didn't think I was going to use. But if you look at this one's like pretty thin. It's not quite as pointed. I like the like definite point on this one. So I'm gonna keep this for like even blending out right underneath my eyes up to my lash line. This one's a little too rounded. This one's pointed a little bit more, so I'm gonna keep this one. This guy is just a flat top kabuki powdery brush. I'm gonna keep this guy, try him out. Guys, we're not done. I have this whole like caboodly set here. This is just an e.l.f. shadow brush. I do like these, but this one is falling apart and it's shedding, so I'm gonna get rid of this one. A Soho concealer brush, and it's just like misformed and it's just kind of ratty and funky. I do like the handle on this one, but I'm not gonna keep that. This is a very old Laura Geller travel kabuki brush, and it just doesn't wanna like reshape, and I just don't use these. I'm gonna get rid of this. Another paddle brush that I don't use. I'm gonna get rid of that paddle brush. This is a no-name medium shadow brush, but it's just nothing special, so I'm gonna get rid of this one. This is an e.l.f. stipple brush, and I love these, but I have a couple other ones, and honestly, this one just got like funky, and I can't quite clean it. It smells a little bit, so I'm gonna get rid of this one. This one is great for contouring. I love the shape of this one, so I'm going to keep this BH Cosmetics brush. This is a MAC blush brush. It's just like a tulip shaped almost brush. I just don't ever reach for this. I have other brushes that I like better. The travel size short handle, I'm just not a fan of. So I'm gonna give this to somebody else. This is the large stipple brush by e.l.f. and I have a couple of their small ones, but none of the other large ones, so I'm gonna keep that guy. This is a BH Cosmetics brush that I use for contouring. I love the shape of this brush, keeping this. Another one of those e.l.f. flawless kind of complexion buffing brushes. Love that. This I got in an Ipsy. It's a crown brush. I love the like ergonomic handle. There's like a finger grip here and here. And this is a duo fiber that I use for like my cream highlighters. Love this. This is a small travel stipple brush, which I actually keep in my travel makeup bag so I can use it with my Stila convertible that I'm using in my project pan, which I will link up above. I'm keeping this. Another blush brush by BH Cosmetics. Guys, I love their brushes. I'm keeping this guy. Another blush brush by BH Cosmetics. Again, love keeping. If you notice, I have tons of BH Cosmetics. So these are the other e.l.f. stipple brushes that I said I liked that work a little bit better, so I'm gonna keep these. Actually, these are the dirty ones. Getting rid of those, keeping this one. This is a flat top BH Cosmetics, and this one's like relatively dense. I like this one, so I'm gonna keep this. And a huge BH Cosmetics fan brush that I enjoy for highlighting. I'm keeping this guy. So let's take out one side of this. This is, oh, I got a bead. So these are some of my brushes. This is a flat brush that I use from Unique. I use these for pigments, and this is like a tiny pointed one that actually works for my eye shape. A Wet n Wild shadow brush that I love. This is a fan brush from e.l.f. that's supposed to be for mascaras. I haven't tried it yet and I'm dying to, so I'm keeping that. These setting brushes by Real Techniques are like my favorite for my under eye or highlighting. I love these, keeping them both. This is a Real Techniques all over shadow fluffy brush. Love that. Another of the Wet n Wild, keeping this guy. This is a push brush from BH Cosmetics. This has shorter bristles. I do like this for push lining, keeping this one. This is a soft dome brush from Makeup Geek. I love this one for blending, keeping that. So we have a MAC 263, keeping the BH Cosmetics I'm keeping. And then this is a Coastal Scents B515, and it's just a straight brush liner, keeping those. I'm not done, guys. I should be, but I'm not. So this is a blending brush from e.l.f. I like this. I'm keeping this. This is an blending brush. I got it at Kohl's, and I actually really love this one. This is a Morphe 200 blending. Love this. These are both the 250 BR250 from Coastal Scents. These are amazing natural bristle brushes. I like them. This is another Real Techniques brush, and I really like the size of this for blending in my crease. So I'm keeping that. These are the BH Cosmetic blenders that I said, the crease brushes that I said I had more of, that I love, that I'm keeping. So those all stay. And then this came in an Anastasia Beverly Hills kit, and I don't mind this side. This is actually pretty scratchy and sheds, and I don't love it. So I'm not gonna keep this. This is my giant Real Techniques powder brush. I love this. I'm keeping it. So here's what I'm getting rid of. It is, let me zoom out a little bit. So this is all that I'm getting rid of. One more run through of my brushes, because guys, I still have this. Like, I still have so many that I'm not sure I can justify still having this much. Plus this caddy. So let me show you the caddy. I don't know if you've seen, because it's usually off camera, but this is one that I made. So it says my own kind of beautiful, and then on the other side it says shine, and I love it. But this is, you know, my everyday brushes, and then the rest kind of gets stored away. So that's still a ton. So let me go through these one more time and determine if I truly need all of these. I am not going to keep this. Remember I said that this one I didn't reuse on my eyes. I used it other places. I'm not going to keep that. I'm not going to keep this angled one. I just don't use these that often. I still want to keep that one. This push liner is an art brush. I probably can get rid of that. No, the rest of those I like. So I'm going to keep those. This one I'm going to get rid of. This is, again, a pretty large brush for pigments, and I just don't think I'm going to use it enough to keep it. I really only need one brush for that, because I don't do them that often. Don't use them that often. This brush I said I liked, and I do like this brush, but this one's just cut weird, so I'm going to get rid of that one. No, I like the rest of those. Let's see how many flat top brushes I have, because how many does a girl need, right? These are my flat top brushes, and I like this one because it's dense and a little bit angled. This one is pretty flimsy. I kind of like the compactness of that one. This one's pretty flimsy. I'm going to get rid of that one. This Morphe one's still pretty dense. I'm going to keep that. This one is just really, really jacked up, and I have like 2 of them, so I'm going to get rid of that. Powder brushes. You guys, I have a lot of them. Realistically, this one is pretty messed up, and I don't think I need it, so I'm gonna get rid of that. These 2 are the same, but I do love them. This one I love as well, and this one is a little bit longer. You can tell the bristles on this one is a little bit longer, so it's a little bit more forgiving, and I like that about it. So I'm gonna keep those. Do I need 4 of them that are all pretty much the same cut? Get rid of this one. This one is the most kind of loose. If you look at like the length of the bristles, this one's a little bit longer, and if I want one that's a little bit looser, I always go for this. All right, I'm going to keep the rest of these, so let me do a quick count. 48. So 48 brushes are going to go to another home, and then let's see how many I have. 10, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 32, 35 in here. So these 2 are 35. 3 more here, 30, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63. Guys, oh no. I didn't do so good. 60, 63, right? 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70.
That's 90.
And then there's 5 more in this size, so 95. I'm keeping 95 brushes. That's insane. All right, guys, so I'm back, and I appreciate it if you stayed with me this whole entire time to go through all of my brushes. I'm still keeping like 95. I'm keeping close to 100 brushes, which is insanity to me. Until I use them a little bit more, I'm gonna leave them, and then we'll see what I really truly use and love, and then I will probably declutter again in the future. But I'm getting rid of almost 50, so you know, in terms of a third, I'm getting rid of a third of the brushes. I am proud. I'm proud of that progress. So if you made it to now, thank you so much for watching and sticking with me. Let me know if any of these were your favorites. Thank you for watching. Be sure to give me a thumbs up and subscribe, and I will see you in my next video.